Next, we come towards the prepared speeches part of the evening, and I would like to introduce Veronica as our first speaker. Veronica's speech title today is Best Recipe, and she is speaking from Pathways, our educational program path, Engaging Humor, Level 3. The project title audience is Engage Your Audience with Humor. Here she needs to deliver a speech on a point of view that makes things funny and include at least one anecdote or story intended to entertain or bring humor. I like listening to Veronica's presentation. She brings a unique perspective to our club, and she also has a lot of humor in her speeches, so I'd like to welcome her to the stage. Welcome, Veronica.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmasters. What is the best recipe? Please raise your hands if you can cook. Please raise your hands if you're a good cook. Say about 50%. About 50% of people who can create meals and feed their families don't think they're good at it. Today, I would like to share with you what is the best recipe to assert yourself as a good cook. First thing, choose your audience. I'm from Czech Republic, and in Czech Republic, I never considered myself a good cook because in a group of people who knew names like Marie Hinčicová or Anna Friedrichová, my grandmas, I couldn't compete. Across the borders, started to live in UK, and suddenly I became a good cook. 2 reasons. They never tasted anything from my grandmas, and they didn't know the recipes. Mostly I am talking about svíčková. If you ever travel to Czech Republic, try svíčková. It's a pinnacle for Czech cook. Meal so complex and mystified that the closest I ever got to it in Czech Republic was with a spoon. Here in UK, I've cooked it twice, and both times people enjoyed it. I became good cook. Point number 2, you need to choose a recipe which is suitable for your abilities. Never ask your grandma for a recipe because, she needs to oversee everything and you're doing it wrong, so you'll have to start over. Instead, go to Google. But don't Google Grandma Svíčková. Google things suitable for yourself. Svíčková for beginners. Svíčková for dummies. Svíčková for people who don't have a roasting pan. My level. Once you have the recipe, remember that you can never replicate it. Even if you find something which suits you, there will be days when the sun is not shining bright enough, the clouds are a bit darker, or the stars are in bad juxtaposition. When you have your recipe, play with it. You need to adapt. By adapting, you become a good cook. And third, make it yours. Find your special ingredients. Assert what makes you, you. These special ingredients should be inspired by the meal, but also by you. The only advice I would give here, stay clear of any pink powders in the kitchen. They're there to get rid of mice. Apart from that, you're safe. Add curry, add allspice, add bit more bay leaf. When I first came to UK, they taught me how to make a cottage pie. It's a meat cooked underneath mashed potatoes. I was short on potatoes, so I had to add parsnips. Ever since, I make it with parsnips because it was so much better. In order to be a good cook, you need to find your place to shine. You need to find a recipe suitable for your abilities. And you need to make the recipe yours. Now, once I've asserted myself as a good cook, I can travel back to Czech Republic and cook for my grandma. Because it's not her svíčková, it's my svíčková. Finding your way is a way how to assert yourself as a good cook. Go and be stars in the kitchen. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Veronica, for a very inspirational piece of assertion on one of the other great pleasures in life, which is indeed cooking. And yes, I take great pleasure in culinary delights in the kitchen as well, cooking with spices and mango and turmeric and coconut cream and all sorts of things. So I can certainly relate there, although it is a bit harsh on the pocket, but I can live with that for now. Next, I would like to welcome up our third and final speaker for the evening, Kai, and I'm her evaluator, and I'm just introducing her as well. Kai is speaking from the dynamic leadership path. She's doing a level 4 project, write a compelling blog, and she's delivering a speech about the impact of blogging a minimum of 8 blog posts in 1 month. So it's just a 2 to 3 minute speech, this one. So timer, please take note, 2 to 3 minutes. And I would like to welcome up Kai to the stage. Welcome.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. I had an idea to create a personal blog to share and assert my thoughts about whatever justice and things thinking into my mind, about my mind, and share about my thoughts. But I always procrastinate and take an easier way to share my thoughts. Facebook, to write whatever things come into my mind in just a tips of fingers. In January, I finally set up a blog with a theme of topics about dynamic leadership. And I managed to finish the blog with 15 articles in a month. How can a procrastinating person finish a blog in a short period of time? And simply because I was forced to do so. My master's degree required me to take a subject called dynamic leadership. Interesting. And blogging is one of the assignments. And I'm not a technology savvy person. And blogging sounds very tough for me. I was struggling. How should I start up my website or my blog? Shall I get a website designer to create a website for me? Or shall I use a platform? And what are the available platforms that I can use? And those platforms with the templates or all that sounds very difficult for me to operate. And finally, I choose to use Blogspot and put my full name, Pang Kai Xuan, in front of the web link. And I thought it could be a chance to build my personal branding and might be helpful for me for my career portfolio. And in the blog, we need to write about the learning experience for the dynamic leadership, and also write an educational column about transformational leadership, about our portfolio, and the overall reflection for the course. And I thought it would be very easy to finish the blog by just copy and paste, because I did the weekly reflection soon after I finished the class. And I realized I was wrong. Writing a blog is more than what I have taught. I will need to think about how would I need to construct the articles to catch the reader's attention. And I will need to think about the font size, to add some icons, photos, and change some colors for the articles. And so that the reader would like to read more about the articles. And it took me a week to finish the editing. And the journey of the blogging has taught me different way of communication through written forms. And looking back to the blogs, and I thought I would only have one viewer because my professor is the only reader because she would need to mark my assignment. Surprisingly, I had 186 views as per today. And it shows that there are people interested to read about the content. The learning journey has sparked my desire to continue the writing. And I thought I should continue the writing to write about my journey to finish my master's degree and my journey to become a licensed counselor. As what my professor always say, what you give is what you get. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you and well done, Kai. Yes, blog writing is something that's often crossed my mind, but I've never really got around to it properly. I've got so many thoughts circulating, ideas, inspiration, wanting to take on the world, but I've never quite managed to share it. So maybe one day. I haven't given up hope.